So this is the Maharishi Ayurveda Hospital private clinic in Bad Ems, Germany. It is located in the former palace of Emperor William I, and we've been asked by the state government to start the clinic there 33 years ago. And during that time, we have treated more than 30,000 people. We could help them with many chronic diseases. The clinic is having also in the building 6 hot springs of thermal water, which has been known around the world for its healing properties. Now you see here the lobby, and this is one of the hotel rooms here. And the clinic has earned about 25 prestigious national and international awards. Many of the government leaders, ministers from the Indian government, paid a visit to the clinic. We have around 70 staff members, and we will be talking about Ayurveda. Ayurveda means the science of life or the science of long life. And this is a picture of my teacher, Maharishi Yogi, who inspired me to start the clinic. And he has revived with the foremost experts and Vaidyas from India, from the ancient tradition Ayurveda in its completeness, and brought it to the Western world. Many aspects of Ayurveda were lost, during the history of India. And Maharishi has had many, many meetings with the family traditions of India and had many conferences. And he, like a puzzle, he brought together many parts for diagnosing and treating diseases which were lost. He organized many conferences. This was one of the first ones in '85 in Brazil. The most recent ones we organized was at Dr. D.Y. Patil University with the presence of the Ayush Minister, where we had 1,350 delegates from over 40 countries participating. So Maharishi Ayurveda means authentic Ayurveda. The ancient forefathers of Ayurveda who wrote the scriptures, Charak was called Maharishi, Sushruta was called Maharishi. So when we say Maharishi Ayurveda, we refer to the ancient forefathers who cognized Ayurveda, and we also give credit to the Maharishi of our times, and who connected also Ayurveda with modern science. And what has been lost basically was also the aspect of consciousness, because right now we are utilizing maybe on 10% of the mind. And Ayurveda traditionally is consciousness-based. That means to increase the alertness. And I will be talking later about the technology of consciousness. This Ayurveda is holistic, authentic, effective, reliable. It's free from harmful side effects. It's prevention-oriented. It's most cost-effective. And it's also capable of promoting not only individual, but also collective health. We will be talking what we understand by collective health. It's universally acceptable, and it's easy to implement. The goals of Ayurveda are prevention. That's the main thing. Restoration of balance, cure, promoting longevity, and enlightenment. That means to unfold the full potential, and even to go into the direction of a disease-free society. This is what we find in the ancient scriptures. Now, Ayurveda is defined, for example, in Sushruta. He whose doshas are in balance, these metabolic principles, which I'll explain in a moment, whose Agni, appetite, is good, whose dhatus, the tissues, are functioning normally, and whose malas are in balance, excretions. And now comes a very important part also, whose self, mind, senses remain full of bliss, inner happiness. He is called a healthy person. Now we know that there is something from Ayurvedic Vedic science which is called Sanghita, which modern science has discovered as the unified field of all the laws of nature. And this unified field is giving rise to the 5 elements: space, air, fire, water, and earth. And they form the three doshas, these metabolic principles. Vata, coming out of space and air. Fire is giving rise to pitta with a little bit of water. And water and earth give rise to kapha. And kapha is forming the dhatus, the tissues, its cohesion gives structure and is responsible for the water systems. Pitta, Agni, is giving rise to the metabolism, the digestion, the transformation. And Vata is giving rise to the body channels, the shrotas, and is responsible for transportation, movement, and communication. Now I will go with you some of the characteristics of those doshas. So Vata is cold, it is light, it is quick, it is dry, it is rough, subtle, minute, it is moving, and it's leading the other doshas. Pitta is hot, warm, sharp, fluid, slightly oily, light, sour, and pungent. And Kapha is known to be heavy, cold, cool, soft, unctuous, oily, sweet, stable and steady, slow, and sticky like, gluey like, slimy and viscous. Now these three doshas, they are found in everything in nature, in the animals, in the plants, in the seasons. Everything in nature has a certain proportion or mixture of these doshas. And when in our human body, in our mind, in our emotions, in the physiology or even the environment, these doshas come out of balance, then gradually diseases are arising. And this is something very unique in Ayurveda, that we know that diseases, when we talk here about chronic diseases, for example, they don't come all of a sudden, but they always develop in 6 stages. So first, the doshas get accumulated. Then they start to get aggravated. Then they are disseminating. And then they localize usually in the weakest part of the body before they manifest and finally disrupt. Now, modern medicine, in spite of all the great advances, and we are promoting integrative medicine, we have to use the best of all systems. Modern medicine, in the case of chronic diseases, is able to detect the diseases only from stage number 5, when they already have manifested. In some cases, stage number 4. And Ayurveda is capable with different diagnostic tools, especially Nadi Vigyan, pulse reading, to detect the diseases already in the early stages. And we are actually not treating diseases in Ayurveda, we are treating imbalances. Now, when we detect the diseases in the early stages, like here with Nadi Vigyan, the assessment of the pulse, it's a wonderful technique that Maharishi has revived with the help of the family traditions of India. And any Western doctor or naturopath or even layman people can learn it, pulse diagnosis, for themselves. Every mother should know pulse diagnosis to feel the pulse of the children and the husband and herself. And if some cold is developing and you feel it 1 or 2 days before, through very simple means like changing diet, maybe some supplements, it can be prevented from, becoming really disease. And so when the diseases are developing and detected in the early stage or even later, we have some major treatment modalities which are helping us to come back to balance. So we have found it to be very useful to relax and expand our consciousness to become calm, peaceful and happy. And this is accomplished very easily, systematically through the scientifically proven technology of consciousness, transcendental meditation. Even pulse diagnosis can be considered to be a treatment, because when the Ayurvedic expert, the Vaidya, is feeling the pulse with his consciousness, he is creating some soothing influence. Then we have technologies of Vedic sound. Then, of course, the herbal medicines. Diet is very important. In Ayurveda, it says if you have the proper herbs but the wrong diet, then the herbs can't work fully. But if you have the proper diet, you don't need the herbs. So diet, according to the doshas and the seasons and the constitutions, is very, very important. Then dinacharya is the daily routine. Like we have the main meal for lunch. I will be giving later on some simple Ayurvedic advices. Then we have Panchakarma. This is the focus of my clinic in Germany, the detoxification program. Then yoga asanas and pranayama are part of the Ayurvedic treatment modalities. Then Maharishi revived and uses the intelligence of the gemstones with laser light, the gem light therapy, aromatherapy. Jyotish and Yagya, they are the Vedic astrology, and they can help us to avoid the danger before it has come. And it's a very fascinating topic. Then Sthapatya Veda, Vedic architecture, has a very beautiful influence. Actually, I'm now living while I speak in the Netherlands in a house that is built according to the Vedic architecture, and it gives a great feeling of happiness and lightness. Then Gandharva Veda, that brings through the Vedic sounds and rhythms the vibrations of nature into our physiology. And then Maharishi Vedic organic food. It's not only organic food, but the plants, they're also listening to the Vedic sounds. And even collective health, when we have, for the group dynamics of consciousness, when we have wars and terrorism, a lot of crime, that means the collective health is ill. And we find a lot of advices in the ancient Vedic literature how to balance the collective consciousness through sattva positivity. As I said before, the main emphasis of my clinic in Germany is Panchakarma, the physiological approach, and there is also some scientific research that I would like to present now. The purpose of Panchakarma, Pancha means 5 actions, is to purify the channels of the body and to enable the effortless flow of the inner intelligence to each cell of the body, and to re-establish the connection between the body and the inner intelligence. And the inner intelligence is actually the source of health. So there are many, many treatments. When people come for Panchakarma to our clinic, they stay 10 days or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, depending on their condition. And then they first have a change in their diet. In the morning, usually they take ghee instead of breakfast, and they have a vegetarian diet during that time without fat in the beginning days. And then this ghee is circulating in the body, and then they have certain treatments to enliven the metabolism, like Abhyanga, the beautiful massage, Vishesh with more pressure, or Dvardhana, a massage with substances that is activating the metabolism. Pitzi chili is the royal treatment under flowing oil. We need about 7 liters of oil for this treatment. And we have seen in the oil that the oil that was clean before is dirty, brown or green afterwards. You can really measure even how the toxins are leaving the body. Svedana is a heat treatment. Shirodhara is very relaxing. And I'll show you some pictures of those treatments. I have a little movie prepared for you. And there are many, many treatments, more than 40, just the major ones here. And they are reducing kapha, pitta, and vata, or even all the doshas, the different kinds of treatments. We would need more time just to talk about Panchakarma. I just wanted to give you a broad overview about the different treatment modalities. And now I show you the treatments are done in complete silence. Ladies are treated by ladies and men are treated by men. And they're given the treatments in perfect synchrony, which has a very soothing influence. Now, this is Urdhvadhana. We're using here a special paste that is activating the metabolism. It's very good with kapha disturbances. People feel so happy when they get this treatment, like a baby. And 70% of our clients come by word of mouth. Many people also repeated the treatment after some years when they feel the need. This is Netra, which is taking out the toxins, the pitta of the eyes. This is Pinta Svedana. This is the pain treatment. It needs several hours to prepare the products that we use here for this particular treatment. And this is Shirodara. It's very relaxing. People feel like in deep meditation when they have this kind of treatment. Just a moment. Just excuse me. There's a technical difficulty here. A lot of research has been done on the Panchakarma treatments. And there are two kinds of toxins. There are water-soluble toxins. Those you can remove by sipping hot water, by exercising, and by sauna. And there are also fat-soluble toxins. In this category, we have pesticides, herbicides, and heavy metals. And those are stored in the fat tissues. And their half duration time is 25 years. That means the body can release after 25 years half of those toxins. And it was found that through the Panchakarma treatment, in this case, they had about 50 patients who did 12 days of Panchakarma. And they were measuring 10 pesticides and herbicides. And the control group, they just had a organic vegetarian diet and health education programs. And you see the control group, they had a reduction of 1%, and the Panchakarma group of 58%. Here you see the overall improvement of health symptoms, more well-being, more energy, more strength, better appetite, better sleep, better mind, emotions, less complaints. Here you see less stress, less tension, less depression. Everything improved, less fatigue, less confusion. This study was done by Dr. Walschitz at the University of Freiburg in Germany, and they were measuring the harmful cholesterol in the blood, and everybody would have expected, because of the oil treatments, that the cholesterol level would rise, but it went down after 10 days of treatment. We had here a group of 82 people, and you see a reduction of 10.5%. That means, according to the latest standard in medicine, that the risk factor for getting a heart attack is reduced by 21%. Even the free oxygen radicals in the blood are reduced. They go up during the treatment because of the purification, but after the treatment, they go down significantly. The aging process is slowed down. With people who also practice TM, in addition to Panchakarma, they even had a better benefit from that. And this is a broad overview about the areas of benefit. People come to improve their nervous disorders, people who have the latest diseases, cardiological diseases, digestive power is improving, metabolic disorders get improved, joint and spinal disorders get improved, respiratory diseases are improved, less allergies, skin diseases are benefiting from this. Urinary disorders are improved, and also neurological diseases can be treated quite successfully with this wonderful treatment. Now, when the people come, you see there's a difference between treating Indian people and Western patients. In Europe, the patients normally visit the doctor when they already have acute health problems, whereas people come to the Ayurvedic physician when their disease has become chronic. So the chronic people, many people who come to us, they have tried many, many different things, and many of them can really benefit from this treatment. Now, the Western patients, they need a lot of explanation. They want to understand what's going on. And besides diagnosis and treatment, we have extensive health education for them. We have every evening live lectures by our physicians, health consultants, by the cooks. We have DVD series with all the basics of Ayurveda. We have our own teaching kitchen. We offer yoga classes. They can learn transcendental meditation. And when the people come, they have a 1 hour diagnosis, and then they see the doctor every day, like 10, 15 minutes. And before they go home on the last day, usually they have another 45 minutes where they get recommendations what they can do in home to have even deeper benefits and stabilize the benefits. They get also herbal recommendations and many recommendations for the seasonal and daily routines. Now I will make a jump, and I would like to give you an insight about the connection between Vedic science and modern science. You see here on the right part of this graphic chart, this beautiful chart, the structure of our physiology. And you see here our physiology is based off the different systems like the nervous system, the urinary system, the hormonal system, cardiovascular system. And now we go into deeper levels of the physiology. Now the systems are made of the tissues are made of cells, the cellular components, and then the biochemical pathways, the proteins, RNA, and finally DNA. DNA is at a level of 10 to the minus 5 centimeters. And finer than that are the laws of chemistry, and finer than that are the laws of physics. And the finest level of creation is called in modern physics the unified field, which operates on a level to the 10 to the minus 33 centimeters or 10 to the minus 43 seconds. This is a field of pure intelligence, of infinite correlation. It has many properties. And in Vedic science, this is comparable to the experience of Atma, the pure consciousness, the self-referral state, the all-knowing consciousness, the bliss consciousness. This is our inner intelligence. And this is the most powerful level of life. And this can be experienced easily and effortlessly through the practice of transcendental meditation. In the next slide, I show you here, just a moment, I don't know what happened here. Next slide here shows how the mind goes within, how the thinking process becomes more refined so that we reach the source of thinking, the pure consciousness. And this technique is called the Transcendental Meditation Technique. And I'll give you now an overview about its benefits. Transcendental meditation comes from the ancient Vedic tradition of yoga. And yoga, when we translate it literally as defined by its founder, Maharishi Patanjali, yoga is the least excited state of consciousness, pure consciousness. Yoga means yoga chitti vritti nirodha. That means when the impulses of the mind come to the standstill, then we have this unified state, which is called yoga, the silent state of consciousness. And there are many scientific studies that have been conducted in over 250 independent universities. Many were funded by the National Institute of Health in America, like reduced factors of hypertension, diabetes, obesity, increased lifespan, reduced thickening of coronary arteries, reduced blood pressure, reduced heart failure. So many benefits just by closing the eyes 20 minutes. And these researches were conducted in so many different medical schools around America and also other parts of the world. This is a summary of book summarizing all the research, more than 700 studies on transcendental meditation. You can go online and Google this, and you can see what diseases have been researched to benefit from the transcendental meditation technique. I just want to explain you some of the studies here. This is a wonderful study that was conducted by the biggest health insurance company in America. It's called Blue Shield Blue Cross. They have 500,000 members in the state of Iowa. Out of them, 2,000 are practicing transcendental meditation, and they have measured the healthcare expenses over a period of 5 years. So it's a highly significant study. And they found, for example, that the heart diseases went down by 87%, the tumors by 56%, and the nervous disorders even by 94%. This was a study done by a Canadian health insurance with elderly people over 65. And they have here measured 9 years the expenditure. And then you see how the non-meditators, how they have risen in their expenses, while the people, when they started TM, their expenses have gone down. So they had a saving of about 25% from the people who practice transcendental meditation. This is a meta-analysis that shows here how deep the relaxation of TM is, just compared to resting, for example, in the respiration rate or the skin response. This is another meta-analysis of 146 studies. You all know that anxiety is a major factor for so many diseases, stress-related diseases. And this study has compared the reduction of stress and anxiety of different kinds of meditation, like progressive muscle relaxation, biofeedback, mantra meditation, placebo, other relaxation techniques. And TM was about twice as effective reducing stress and anxiety. So it has a double effect, protection against stress and reduction of stress. This study was funded by the National Institute of Health, and they were measuring the blood pressure, and they got a grant of $5 million US, and they were thinking the American Heart Association how to do the study, and they decided to go for the people who have most problems, Afro-Americans above 55, living in the densely areas of the big cities, so the poorest people basically. And they have offered them a combination of diet and exercise, progressive muscle relaxation, and transcendental meditation. And TM was 7 times more effective as the lifestyle changes and 4 times more effective than the progressive muscle relaxation. That's why the American Heart Association is endorsing TM as the most effective and proven technology, relaxation technique to reduce hypertension. This study shows the mortality and less strokes and heart attacks. They had a group of like 80 people. The study was conducted over 9 years. And half of the people who had already bypass surgeries or stents, they learned TM, and the others did not. And after 9 years, half of the people who didn't practice TM, they had died. And the number of the meditators were still all alive. And the new incidences were reduced by about 50%. It was shown that the aging process is slowed down when people, everything that gets worse with aging, like blood pressure or cholesterol or reaction time or depression or memory, all these things are reversed. And it was found that when people meditate 5 years, the average age of this group, 2,000 people who practiced TM, was 40 years, and they compared with the average aging of the general population in America. And they found that people who meditate up to 5 years, their biological age was 5 years younger, whereas the long-term meditators, their biological age was even 12 years younger. It is used for the reduction of the post-traumatic syndrome on war veterans. There are many studies on this, even most recently. And TM stands for Transcendental Meditation, easy to learn, and everybody can benefit. And you don't have to practice a long time. Even after a few days, you start to feel the benefits. You may know that the Beatles they were one of the disciples of Maharishi already in 1968, and they have been promoting transcendental meditation And there's also good research about the herbal products. We don't have the time to go into it. But what I wanted to highlight here, it's very important that the herbs coming from India have to be safely produced according to hygienic standards. And Maharishi Ayurveda has set a world standard for qualification of very important measures for the safety of the products. And they are all tested when they come into Europe again, a second time in India and in Europe, that we are really safe about prescribing those products. I just wanted to mention one study here. And this study was done by the All Asia Science Institute, and they were taking the data of about 50 patients going through the chemotherapy after the breast cancer diagnosis, and they have measured in 22 categories the side effects. And after all the 6 cycles of chemotherapy, like this one here, see in vomiting, and in the green bars, you see that the side effects of those taking this herbal preparation, which is called Amrit Kalash, was reduced also about 50%. They were measuring in 22 categories the side effects, and in all of them except for losing the hair, the people had similar benefits with a reduction of 50% of the side effects. I wanted also to give those of you who have not heard about Ayurveda some simple rules for food intake. This is a very important part of Ayurveda. So eat in a pleasant, silent surrounding while being seated. Eat what suits your taste and what agrees with you. And start with a moment of silence, a little prayer, something like this. Close your eyes that you have your full attention on the intake of food. And then you chew it well, the food. Watch your hunger. And it's good to sip hot water half an hour during the day in small sips, as hot as tolerable. But don't drink half an hour before or one after food intake. And avoid to eat meals in between as much as possible. This is weakening our digestive fire. The breakfast should be light, depending on your dosha dominance. And you can go to an Ayurveda health consultant to find out your dosha dominance. And the lunch should be the main meal of the day. And the dinner should be early and should be easy digestible. Now, some further advices on the daily routine. So in the morning, we get up early without alarm clock. We put 1 drop of oil in each nostril. We drink a glass of cool room temperature water. Try to empty your bowels. Clean your tongue, very important, because the undigested part, which we call ama, is covering the tongue. So use a tongue scraper or spoon, brush your teeth. You can gargle with oil. You can do an oil massage. You will find on the internet tips how to do the daily oil massage abhyanga. And if you don't have time to do the whole, just do the head and the ears and the feet. And then Surya Namaskar is some yoga exercise, I would say. It's very beneficial. Shower with warm water. And then if you have time to do asanas, the yoga postures, the breathing exercise and meditation, this will be very helpful for you. Now, where have we come with Ayurveda? In Germany, Ayurveda has become very popular. Hundreds of thousands of people are applying it every day. We have achieved in Germany that there is an association, umbrella organization of all the natural therapies, Hufeland, and they have made, together with our Doctors Association, how the private health insurances can reimburse it. And we have in Germany about 1,200 hotels who offer Ayurvedic treatments, but they are mainly in development. There may be only like 30 who do it, in a medical way. And in Switzerland, it's a state-recognized profession for the Ayurveda neuropath and the Ayurveda therapist. And so Ayurveda education, Maharishi University in America has currently the biggest Ayurveda number of students outside India with 850 people. in the bachelor's and master's program. We have dual degree programs with the University of Maribor in Slovenia and the Maharishi College of Perfect Health in collaboration. And there are many courses for different people that you can take. Now for the future of Ayurveda, we are not yet recognized in Germany and in most of the European countries, except these small indications that I mentioned. I feel we need more scientific studies that are conducted in Europe. Unfortunately, the studies conducted in India, and there are 10,000 of them, and really brilliant studies, they can all be seen on the website of our international foundation. There are links to that. I will share the link with you. But the European governments, they will not accept them unless they're done in Europe. So this is something that I hope will happen in the future. And the Ayurveda profession as a specialist physicians, we wish to be recognized like other natural health areas also. One important part of Ayurveda is also the architecture, which I have mentioned before. We know that the buildings that we live in have a big influence. The buildings should be directed 100% to the natural directions because there is a magnetic field, which is called Hartmann grid. And if the building is not properly oriented, it has a bad influence on our life. What is especially auspicious is the east entrance facing the east and the north entrance. And other entrances, they have negative influences on our life. There are also some scientific studies that may be a topic for another presentation in the future. And we know that in our brain, we have certain electrons that fire constantly to the east. And if we are properly oriented, it has an integrative factor for our brain physiology. Then I was talking about collective health. And if we have stress in society, when we have terrorism, a lot of crime, even if we have wars, that means the collective consciousness is incoherent. And when many people in groups practice transcendental meditation, there are about 55 studies that have proven, we don't have the time, unfortunately, to go into that. This is a 7-year study in the United States that was done by a group of 2,000 experts. And you see in the blue line, when we had the super radiance number, all negativity like murder, rape, assault, robbery, infant mortality, all the negative values went down. And when the group couldn't be maintained due to financial reasons, all the negative values were rising again. So we have beautiful programs. I know this may sound to be unbelievable, but I would really recommend those who are loving to create peace in the world to visit the website of the Global Union of Scientists for Peace, GUSP.org, and have an explanation about these studies. We are building up groups in India, especially, and in Nepal, where we try to gather thousands of people who do also the Vedic recitations to create peace for the world. And then finally, if somebody would like to open a clinic, I have 40 years of experience, and you don't have to learn from mistakes. You can go to Pirc's Clinic Consulting, and I can offer my services to those who would like to open a nice clinic to do Panchakarma treatments. I have written a book. I have lived 7 years in a monastery, and I studied directly from His Holiness Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. He really was a great seer, and he has enlivened all the Vedic knowledge, and the book is full of beautiful anecdotes, how it is to live with a great saint like Maharishi. The book is available in America, and India has just the biggest publisher has published it, Motilal Banarsidass. It came out now in Russia by the biggest publisher, and soon also the Latin American version is coming out. You may like to take a screenshot here. These are some websites. The first one is the International Maharishi Ayurveda Foundation. And you find all the research that are presented in brief today. You find all the references and more details. The second one is my clinic in Bad Ems, Germany. Then there is the international website tm.org about transcendental meditation, and Maharishi International University, where you can study Ayurveda, and then also my personal website. So thank you very much for attending the presentation.